Oh yeah. Are we on? I'm on. Yeah.
Back again, back again.
Back again. Feeling good. Feeling great, man. Woke up this morning, feel pretty good about that. You know, I was always the first one to wake up in the house, and then my kids caught on to it, and they're like, you know what? I like that alone time too. So now I'm gonna undercut dad instead of wake. I wake up. I normally wake up at 5:30, and I hear the TV on at 4:30, and I'm like, damn it, I like to wake up and just like stand outside in the backyard, or just have some coffee in a quiet house. Now that we have the Christmas tree up and all the lights, and I'm like, I'd like to enjoy that, but I can't. So I do like to go down and to the living room and hang out, right? So it is what it is, but I'm glad they're waking up early, man. How's everything going with you?
Going good, man. Going good. Just trying to catch up, trying to stay awake, alert, and alive out here, and keep learning every day, and keep going every day, and just keep meeting people, and trying to keep my one foot in the trenches of what's going on in the VA and what's going on with retirees and what's going on with veterans, and then my other foot in family and school and work and all that stuff.
There's a lot going on, man. I'll tell you. Real quick, I want to bring up Navy Cop because he brought up a good point. Go Navy, beat Army. I watched the game last night, and it was a close one, man. Both teams did awesome. They were fighting for it, and they won by 1 point. Which, what can you do about that? It was like a minute left. Navy had the ball. They weren't going to score. The Army wasn't going to score. They weren't going to turn it over, I don't think so. Who knows? Anything could happen, but go Navy. They ended up winning the game. Maybe next year, Army. Maybe next year. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Shout out to Sergeant Stacking, man. Awesome. He gifted 5. Wow. Well, that's awesome. That's cool. Thank you, Sergeant Stacking. Hey, Sergeant Stacking, give me a link to your YouTube, man. I was looking for it yesterday. I could not find it. Post a link in the comments, man. We'll share it here on the screen here. Shout out to Robert Luna, who's doing the damn thing. Robert Luna sent me a video, John. He sent me a video yesterday of how I think I'm capturing this right, but please correct me if I'm wrong, Robert. He won some sort of a raffle for this blanket, and he gifted it to this. I believe the gentleman was a Vietnam veteran, and it was a very emotional conversation between both of them, where thanking each other for their service and how he's appreciative of it. So, big shout out to you, Rob, for doing that, man. If I'm getting it wrong, please let me know. But thank you for sharing that video with me, man. And I'll send it over to John as well, if you don't mind, Rob.
Yeah. Love to see that. And would also love to see some video progress on the veteran home there you got going on, the homesteading. You've got setting it up and getting it ready. I mean, I know it's in the early stages still and just probably getting all the contracts and stuff done for the land, but would love to see updates on that.
Yeah, in Alabama, I believe. Yep. It's the homeless veteran project that Robert is running. It's al2la.us, and he's doing some awesome things. I can't wait to see that happen. And Rob, when you get that up and running, I'm coming out your way, man. I want to go check it out firsthand and be amongst the community out there. So thank you for doing what you're doing, man. Let me see here. Morning. Good. Vietnam vet. It says Sergeant Stackett. I could post a link if you give me a moderator wrench, brother. A moderator wrench. I can explain how to make people's mods if needed. I don't know what does that mean. What is a moderator wrench?
He needs to be a mod in order to post a link, maybe. Probably.
Okay. Well, let's see what I can do here from my side. And engage with your audience. Man, Sergeant Stacking, man, you're giving me homework, dude. I got to look this stuff up now. A moderator wrench, moderation activity, timestamps. Band trolls, okay.
Put on band. Yeah, that's what. So that's what Navy Cop does for us as well. He mods the comments in the chat for us. It's in the set. It might take a while.
I don't know how to do that. I'm looking at. I'm trying to figure it out because I got the software here and I've got the YouTube on this side, kind of tracking all this. So, Sergeant Stacking, I will figure it out, brother. I don't know exactly how to do that right now, but we got to talk about this when it's not live on the spot. Oh man,
call me with my pants down.
Yeah, right. So let's see here. It's talking about military retirement. What does that look like in 2026? That's the topic that I put out there, and things are changing. Things are definitely changing, and there's a lot of speculation going on out there with some VA disability stuff. We've all seen the videos. I mean, if you're in that kind of military sphere of things on YouTube, you've probably come across something like that. There's Washington Post stuff. There's talk about changes to VA disability and all this good stuff. Until I would say this, until something gets passed, it's not like law, right? It's just speculation at that point. So I would just keep it at that. I did put up a video on the Green Logbook of what's his name, Doug Collins, how he mentioned that there was he was going to be slimming down disability payments, and then he switched kind of gears. He switched his train of thought into something else. And I put that up maybe 3 days ago, and people were kind of calling me out on it in the comments. They're like, "Hey, stop putting up this BS. It's all speculation." I'm like, "Hey, dude,
chill."
What I'm saying here is, man, when a grown man tells me something and he's talking about it, I'm going to take it at face value, and especially when it's coming from somebody that high, I'm gonna probably believe what he's saying, right? And I don't know what's going to happen. None of us do. Again, it's just speculation, but there may be a lot of changes coming through in the next year. We will see. All we can do is buckle up for the ride. But with that, what does military retirement look like in 2026? Well, I think it looks pretty good as long as you're prepared for it. And John and I talk a lot about this, a lot about military retirement. I retired 2 years ago, as of 1 December 2025. It's been 2 years, right? So military retirement looks a little bit different now than it did in December 1st of 2023. But the biggest things would be making sure that you're financially stable to make that transition over, right? Yesterday, we were talking to folks about their 2026 like resolutions or the missions for 2026. And a lot of them were like, "Hey, look, I want to get into something else while on terminal leave." Somebody had mentioned that I want to get into something else on terminal leave. And my thought was, take some time off to just chill out, to decompress. We've talked to Brigadier General. I forgot his name. It's escaping me, but the gentleman mentioned that you don't know how tired you are after a decade, 2 decades of service. So really taking a step back to actually decompress and focus on what matters. It could be your family, it could be friends, it could be travel, it could be something like that. So focusing on what matters. And I don't know. I mean, you got anything to add on there? I'm still doing a little bit of research on this stuff, but if you got anything to add on there with that, John?
Yeah. I mean, I retired in 21 around the same time that you did, but in 2021. And Unfortunately, did not beat the cola trap because I wasn't so fully versed on it, and I was trying to get out at a certain time and hit my marks for myself. Um, I mean, one thing to look forward to, at least for those who have retired already recently, the 2.8% cola increase is going into effect. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything different. As far as I know, it's gone into effect. So we're getting a slight increase in COLA, retirement pay, and those kind of things. But for those folks who are getting ready to retire in 2026, which is a bunch of folks out there, I've talked to probably a dozen folks in the last 2 months who are actually retiring next year in 2026. And I will agree with the statement that you should take as much time as you need off. If you're trying to do something different, if you're in an MOS or a occupational specialty in the military that you want to kind of move out of, I would start taking the steps now to do that. I would start figuring out what it is exactly in which kind of general direction, and then slowly kind of narrow that down over time. And the best time that you can do that is, of course, setting aside time for your family and setting aside time for the things that need to be done around the house and all the stuff that you have to do for work. But on the nights and the weekends, when you're otherwise watching a documentary series on Netflix or watching a movie at night or doing some kind of things like that, you can take some of that time, whether it's 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, a couple times a week or on the weekends, and just start doing some research on the things that maybe interest you and start getting acclimated to what those things require and if it is even a good fit, right?
Yeah.
So you basically want to reverse engineer a product for yourself and figure out what the product market fit of you is into whatever occupation you want to go into or whatever discipline you want to go into, whether that's, becoming a pizza maker or becoming an artist or becoming a writer or doing something completely different from the job that you did in the military, or continuing to go down the path and narrow down and niche down into something very specific within your occupational specialty. So if you're doing cybersecurity stuff, maybe you want to do digital forensics or you want to go into cyber law, like those kind of things. Of course,
Right.
some of those things come with certifications and training that you have to attend, that you have to go through, that you have to tick some boxes off. But basically just sit down and do some research on the nights and weekends when you've got some free time. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's the same amount of time you would spend researching something you're going to buy on Amazon, right? You go on Amazon, you click on, you start doing a couple search terms, you narrow it down to what you're looking for. Maybe you come across the thing on accident by using a totally different search term, and then you just kind of take some notes and figure that out. And that's the easiest way to get started down that path without actually putting a foot down on the ground and taking action toward that. And you can save yourself the heartache of like spending 6 months trying to do this thing and then it fails because you're not into it or you don't have the determination internally to go through with it. But you can just do some research, figure out what it is, what you want to do, and start moving down that path before you even get to the point where you're at retirement.
I like it, man. Always well thought out and very, just very well thought out. I don't know what else to add to that that piece, man, but I appreciate that. I would say that folks who are retiring, who are leaving the service, you're going to have to make a decision here, and it's a decision that could potentially cost you about $200-300 every month. And I'm coming across this decision myself, right? Because you have certain time frames, and I know we talked a lot about it, John. You have certain time frames where you can, really, I guess, opt out of this this service, and it's the SBP. It's the Survivor's Benefit Plan,
Yep.
right? So what it is when you go to pick up your DD 214 and sign off all the documentation, they're going to ask you it's usually at the admin section, right? They're going to ask you, hey, review all your information here, make sure your awards are correct on your DD 214, et cetera, all your schools and all that. And you either opt in for your SBP or you opt out for the SBP. And again, I didn't know what it was. Like I didn't do enough research on it to realize. Like I knew it was a benefit plan. I knew it was going to cost me a certain percentage of my retirement, and I know that Doug Fowler mentioned it. You know, Colonel Fowler mentioned it on how he likes the idea of the SPP. However, looking back on it now, and being that it costs me more, the SPP cost me more to keep than the $1 million policy that I purchased, the term life insurance policy, significantly more actually.
Yep.
It has swayed me towards canceling that SPP, and there's only certain time frames when you have that chance to do that. You can either opt out of it when you first go to pick up your D214, but I think you need your spouse's signature on that saying that they understand that you're opting out of it.
Yep.
And you can opt out of it between your second and third year after your end of active service, which I'm in that time frame right now. So I have this full year to kind of, I don't want to wait until the end of the year to do it, but I have this year to opt out of it. Or it's 5 years after your end of active service, as long as you have 100% VA disability. I want to say that that is one of the requirements. So just understand that it's kind of weird. Like, how can they really lock you into this? You know, that's weird how they can lock you into that, but they do give you certain time frames to opt out of it. Just understand what you're getting into. You know,
Yeah.
like I think it's like 285 for me or something like that every month. And what it does, it gives, if should something happen to me, it gives my my wife, my kids, what is it, like $1,500 every month,
Mhm.
something like that. And then I think it's like another 30 cents to add your kid on there, or like $1 to add your kids on there, or something like that, on top of whatever you pay every month. So it gives them like $1,500. And I got to thinking, I was like, okay, well, $1,500 a month, or just a lump sum from a term life insurance policy. You know, it's going to take them several years for that $1,500 to equate to something big like $1 million policy. But you know, this is not, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just letting you know my mindset, where I'm coming from, what I thought about, and I kind of weighed all the options. I mean, you could definitely keep both of them. It's going to be like $500-600 a month, but you know, for me, I feel like I could do just fine with that term life insurance policy, and then turn that SPP potentially into my wife's life insurance policy, so we can both have something going on.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Doug Fowler, Colonel retired Fowler, jumped in, and because we've had a lot of talks with other folks, right? We've had you know, a few folks on who actually are financial advisors, and we've talked about this in many different lights, and trying
Yep.
to understand like what's the benefits versus what's the downsides and all that stuff. And that's also what I asked Doug too in the interview. If you want to see the interview, just go into the catalog. It should be in there. Just look for, you know, Google military retirement podcast,
Yeah.
Cola Trap, and you should be able to find it along with another 1 or 2 videos. Maybe I think you made a video on the Cola Trap as well. But
I did. Yeah.
it's good to hear those different sides of the story, because I don't want to just get like all the leaning information from one side and be like, okay, this is the way to go, right? Everybody's got their own kind of different needs, and that's part of the retirement process, as part of the transition process as well. Like everybody's got individual needs and things that they have lined up as priorities in their life, and based on what those needs and priorities are, they have to make decisions as far as when to retire, what kind of benefits they want to opt in for, opt out of. And it's good to hear both sides of the story. So he did make a great argument about why it's such a good opportunity for folks. I myself opted into it as well, because I heard a bunch of people telling me, a bunch of smarter people tell me that I should, and I didn't look into the window of opportunity to opt out of it. So I'm pretty much locked in for a while until I figure out a way to get unlocked if I decide to do that. But that's the whole point of having so many different people come on the show and talking to us. And we asking them
Right.
questions and counterpoints about what's going on so we can get both sides of the story and help people make better informed decisions.
But isn't it kind of strange, like how they can lock you into that trash?
It is. It's really strange. It's one of those. You would think, as many exceptions to the rule there are in the military, that there would be an exception to the rule or some kind of
Yeah, like a
exception to
waiver or
policy
something.
that you could just put in and be like, "Look, I just don't want to do it."
Right, exactly. Like, yeah, I mean, you're paying towards it, right?
Yeah. Even if it
Like,
was
what
take 10
happens if,
years of my money and time, and then you can let me opt out of it after 10 years, like that would be another
yeah,
option, right?
dude, it's like, if you don't want your progressive car insurance, you could just cancel it tomorrow, right?
Mm,
But come SBP, it's like a freaking life-changing thing. It's insane, dude.
yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, I got a list of stuff here like TAP, right? You want to start TAP early. You can take
Mhm.
it twice, right? You
Yep.
can take it twice, but there's a lot of things that TAP doesn't talk about, that doesn't cover, and we talk about it like ad nauseum here a little bit. Um, things like mental health, things of the feeling of loss of tribe and camaraderie, things like that. This is why we do things like this. Have this channel here to kind of fill in those gaps a little bit, to let people know, like, hey, you may be going through some rough times after you get out. I think a lot of people do, because you're
Yeah.
so used to a certain way of life for many, many years. Um, but here to tell you, like, things actually work out pretty well, man. Like, I was personally, I was like, I was lost, dude. I was like, I went straight into a job. I'm like, man, what am I going to do? I got to feed my family or whatever. I went straight into a job. This is even before I got my VA disability stuff, or before I even got my first retirement check. I was still on terminal leave. I just want to lock something in, because I've always had a job since I was 16 years old. Every every year of my life, I've had a job, and it was kind of like, it was strange not having anything, knowing that I wouldn't have anything. So I was like, you know what? I need to get into something ASAP. And realistically, that's the time where I should have taken off. But it's that mindset where, not understanding that things were going to be okay. I had kind of set myself up in a way that, like, financially secure and all that. So that way, I really didn't have to work right away if I didn't want to. I could take a few months off if I wanted to. But it's just that feeling of what's next, what's my next mission, and running into whatever came my way. And it was good work, but it was tough work, and I wasn't really happy there. So moved on.
Yeah. And I just want to add something onto your comment about TAP.
Yeah, yeah,
If and when you go to TAP, and you should very much go to TAP, and maybe one day you'll see myself or Victor in one of those TAP classes, depending on where you get out of the military at. Talking to the TAP class and spilling some good information. But if and when you do go, take your spouse with you to TAP and
yeah,
tell
yeah,
them, like, hey, don't worry about what I'm writing down. Don't worry about the notes that I'm taking. You listen in for the things that are important to you, and take the notes that are important to you, so that we can compare notes afterwards when we get home over dinner. And there you'll find out that they'll write down a bunch of stuff that you completely missed, or you zoned out on, or you were pissed off because they were talking about something stupid and you're like, this is dumb. I want to get out of here and go take a break. Um, just take your spouse with you. If you can, take your significant other with you if you're not married, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Take somebody with you to be there, to be a second set of eyes, to trust but verify.
yeah. I didn't see a single spouse in my TRS class, man. And they
Right.
have different ones, right? It was, excuse me, it was, mine was for retirees. It was all retirees. So a bunch of like old heads out there, and it was different from like the first termers, 4 years, 8 years, whatever. So,
Yep.
and I think it's more, it's a little bit more sped up, right? They gave me the option of coming in for like an education track, or I forgot what the other tracks were. And my TRS was really 3 days long. My TAP class was really 3 days long, because I didn't feel like I needed like the education track. I already had a degree. I already knew what I wanted to get into, kind of, for the most part, as far as education. So, but it's hard it's very, very hard to encompass everything within 3 days, within a week, really. A 20-year career in setting you up for a life outside of the uniform where you don't really have anybody telling you what to do. There's no orders, there's no PCS. You're going to be really staying in one place if you want to plant roots. It's tough. It really is. Like, I got the itch, just like I've been living here in Southern California for probably 5 years now. And dude, after like 3 years of being here, I got the itch. I was like, man, I got to get out of here. Like, SoCal is nice, but I wanted to move. Like, I was so used to like the PCS, right? Let's go somewhere else. And we almost did. We almost jumped over to Virginia, and I was looking for jobs out there. I had like an interview and all that. And then like I had a real talk with somebody like, dude, you're going to trade in San Diego for Virginia, man? I'm like, yeah, you're right. Maybe not. Let's see here.
These comments are going fast. I'm trying to read them as they go.
Yeah. Let's bring some up here. Pedro Zambrano. Hey, Pedro, that's my man right there. He runs a good coffee connection on LinkedIn. Awesome dude. It says, yes, I totally screwed that up. Should have taken my wife. She runs the home front, and her priorities for information would have been beneficial to life after the uniform. Absolutely. Absolutely. As much as our wives keep us in check, or if you're a woman, listen to this, like your husband or whatever the heck it is, however you run your life, your significant other definitely has an influence on your life, so I should have brought my wife over there too, but I figured, I'm here on base. She's at work. I don't want her to miss work from here. So let's just go. Yeah. I'll just do this thing.
And I just want to drop this on the stage real quick.
Also, yeah, go ahead, man.
This is kind of a breakdown of a TAP class, not every TAP class, but this is a TAP curriculum for FY26 that I got sent to me for some classes that are coming up in the near future. And this is just some of the stuff that they break down. They have entrepreneur track. You mentioned the education track, vocational track, employment track, and then the core curriculum stuff, and kind of like the timelines that you're looking at, whether it's 2 or 3 days or whatever. And then they have capstone 1-hour appointments and skill bridge deep dive at this particular TAP location. So it's just kind of a breakdown of what you'll be looking at. You can look these up online, of course. Just search your location where you're retiring from or getting out from and TAP curriculum, and you should be able to find a bunch of this stuff online. They're pretty much run by what we determine run by a contracting company for the most part, that they have to coordinate and do all that stuff at those TAP classes. So
just give me 1 second here, John. I'm looking up. So Harley for Bill mentioned something out there. If you can put it up on the screen real quick.
Yep. The lifespan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, excuse me. He sent me over an email to the greenlogbook@gmail.com here, and I'll put it up on the screen here. And I think the reference for this, and I'm looking it up, is Boeing Aerospace. But there's this chart that he sent over: age at retirement at death, or average age. Okay, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Table indicates that for people retired at the age of 50, their average lifespan is 86. Whereas for people retired at the age of 65, their average lifespan is only 66.8. Wow. An important conclusion from this study is that for every year one works beyond age 55, one loses 2 years of lifespan on average.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Yes, it is. Yeah. So maybe don't work until you're 65.2.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm being that I retired at 40 years old. I am. I think I'm set to live to almost 100. Man, feeling good about that.
As long as you don't go back to work.
But I want to, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's sword, man.
It is a sense of purpose thing for me, right? Like, I love what I'm doing here with like the Green Log with the Military Retirement Podcast. It's cool, right? But it's also like I was watching a newsreel on an older gentleman, Vietnam veteran, probably 90 or so, and this guy works at Lowe's in the garden department, and he says, not that he needs to work there. It's just he likes the interaction with people. He likes being around people, and that's admirable, man. I love that, and I think that's where I'm at right now. It's like being in this office is cool, but I also want to be outside and go talk to folks like another human being, right?
Right.
Seaman, Airman, Navy, man, my man, you have done everything. Seaman, Airman, Navy. Why is the VA giving Oracle Larry Ellison $68 billion for a software that doesn't work? I haven't been able to get my own records for a week. They say IT issue.
Huh.
Your guess is as good as mine, man. I did not know that didn't work. What records? I'm curious. Like medical records or DD-214, or what kind of records you're looking to get?
I mean, yeah, but depending on what records, I can log into my VA app and pull all my little pertinent paperwork that I need to pull from the VA app directly. It seems to be working right now. But you're right.
Exactly.
I'll say you're right. We do throw a lot of money at a lot of useless software solutions and hardware solutions a lot of the time. And a lot of those times pay a lot more money than they're actually worth in real time, like civilian terms. So yeah, but I think the VA and the government in general is doing a good job of like trying to cut a bunch of that nonsense out. Slowly.
Dude, so I'm sure the Army did this too, but then when the Navy and the Marine Corps jumped on OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive, and started like uploading everything on there, I mean, I was setting these parameters, right? Because I ran my unit, I ran everything, like all the admin shit too, just like a bunch of like these additional billets. And I was like, stop sending files and just emails, because my shit was like, it was stacking up. Like I had to constantly get a hold of like the G6 and be like, hey, can you expand my mailbox, man? Because like these people keep sending me these huge files, and a lot of them was like investigation stuff, right? Like photos and stuff. And so it was huge files. And when it came to OneDrive, I was like, look, this is like almost like an unlimited cloud that you have, right? Just upload it on there. We can secure this thing. And people were with their freaking fingers in their mouth, like they're sucking on their thumb. What do you mean? How do I use this? I'm like, all right, I guess I need to give this little hip pocket class here real quick and show you all how to do this. And we did. I went through the class, the Microsoft class or whatever myself, so I could be, I guess, intelligent enough to give a class to my people on that. But it was hard for folks to turn over and conform to that new standard. And that's where I think it was, man. It's like, it's hard to accept new technology, but I'm like, the Navy is paying millions of dollars for this. Yeah, you're probably right. Billions of dollars for this, man. We got it. We got to learn this new stuff, man. And it was tough. It was tough to get people on board with that, man, but you got to do it. Oh, real quick, Sergeant Stacking, I got you, dog. I found your channel. You ain't hiding. I got you. And do you make challenge coins? Like, what am I looking at here, man? He makes like figurines or like metal casting. I don't know what it is. It looks cool though, like Thor hammers. Big ups to you, man. Let me see. Going to the channel, going to the comments here. Says Veteran Broken. If you go to the records department, literally fill out a form and get a physical copy. Might is sitting right on the desk and they mail it to me. Yeah. Let's see. Boston Rob. One critique about TAP is that it's not normally split between members retiring and separating. There are enough differences between the two, and the members are more engaged if the material is relevant. Absolutely, man.
Yep.
Absolutely. So maybe I got lucky, but mine was split between the retirement ones and the ones just separating. Yep. At least I think it was. I didn't go to everybody and ask, but I know the class was like, it was set up for retirement. And I think they only gave that class like once a week versus the other ones who were several times a week.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, they split them by rank too. So if you're like a senior NCO or senior officer versus a junior enlisted or junior officer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. John, another thing that I tell the folks out there, man, folks who are about to retire in 2026 is really get your med records ready, get everything in line for your medical stuff. If there's like any corners that you need to make sure are completed, then get out there and see the doctor. Maybe you have been dealing with a pain for all these years and you really hadn't gotten seen about it. Make sure you do that. I did exactly that. Like I needed a surgery for all these years. I was just putting it off, and I didn't get surgery on my leg until it was like my 18th year in, knowing that I was going to retire in 2 years. I was like, might as well just get it now. I've been dealing with this trash since I was like in for 6 years. Um, but I got that surgery. Get it done. Get it documented. It's a lot easier to get this medical stuff done while you're in service, while you're in uniform, than it is when you get out, because there's a long list. There's a long wait line for that. Um, to my point, there's I think a 3-month wait just to see a therapist. I just had an appointment with the VA this last week on Friday. 3-month wait. Whereas if I was in uniform, they'd probably get me in a lot faster than that. So with the medical stuff, BDD is huge. BDD, benefits delivery at discharge, is huge. I put the timeline up, my retirement timeline and all that stuff, on the military retirement group on Facebook. Quick plug for that group. If you're not a part of that group and you're on Facebook, please consider joining the military retirement group. It's not just for retirees, it's also for veterans. Good group of folks, about just under 3,000 members on there. Folks who are leaving the service, folks who have left the service. A lot of good information being passed on there. And I do post a lot about upcoming live streams and things like that. So you can find us there. But in the files, we put a whole lot of stuff, and I put my timelines. And 11 days after I left active service, I got my VA disability rating because I did the BDD. Whereas a dude in my office I was working with, he had been waiting for like a year because he missed that BDD whole thing. But he was also doing an upgrade and all that. So just be aware of that. BDD can work for you, but just make sure that you have all your stuff tight. And if you want to know what I did, feel free to email me or get a hold of me, because I made sure my stuff was airtight when I did my BDD and I did my CMP exams. I didn't want there to be any hiccups because I heard and I've seen the horror stories. So let me know, thegreenlogbook@gmail.com.
And if you want to know how to screw it all up, you can come and ask me, and I'll tell you all the ways that I've missed all the boats on so many things. That's why I'm doing this now, so I can educate other people, because you'd rather hear the horror stories from an alcoholic about how to beat alcoholism than you would from somebody who's never touched a drink in their life, right?
Oh man. No, man, but you're in a good spot, man. I mean, shit, you're living in Italy, you're freaking living the life. You just had dinner by the sea yesterday, man.
Beautiful.
You're living the life. It sounds beautiful, dude.
Yeah, man. And that's to your point. I mean, it's to the point you brought up at the very beginning, right? It's you're gonna be fine no matter what happens, no matter what you miss, no matter what you forget to do. If you sign up for SBP and you forget to turn it off after 2 years, like you're gonna be okay as a retiree, as long as you keep the focus of setting yourself up enough, doing enough things ahead of time to try to mitigate some of that downside on the other end of retirement or getting out, and you'll be fine. There's going to be stuff you're going to miss. You're not going to get everything right.
Yeah, and I recall talking to somebody before I retired, another retiree, and I just had all this anxiety. Right, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. I got to get into something ASAP. I got to do my BDD stuff. Just kind of all over the place, thinking about every single thing. Right, like writing everything down, just going crazy about it. And I could see the look in this dude's face. He almost wanted to grab me and just give me one of these, like, hey, shake my shoulders. Understand that it's going to be all right.
No.
You're going to be all right, man. You're going to have enough. Your family's going to be fed. Your wife works. Your kids are in a good spot, right? I don't have babies or anything like that, so I'm not having to buy all these diapers. My kids can stay home if they want to. They're old enough. So, And it's on top of that, like I think somebody mentioned it in here in the chat somewhere, but VRE is huge too, because they not only pay for your tuition, they also give you a monthly housing allowance, which could add on to whatever you're already making as a retiree, or your REIA disability or whatever. So here in Southern California, man, it's actually BAH just went down because the monthly housing allowance for VRE matches your E5 with dependents BAH, and it actually went down like $10 or something. Which there's a whole Reddit thing on people who are pissed about the BAH rates, but still, it's close to damn 4,000 a month, man. So can't beat that with a stick, dude. Let's see here what we got here.
It's BH differential. I'm trying to look up the ratings because they should have that posted as well, right? The BH rates for 2026.
Yeah, it should be on the defense travel site.
Yep.
Defense travel site. So it just updated like this week.
So yeah.
Yeah. So Harley for Bill said it right, man. BDD is the claim you have the greatest chance of service connection with your chronic conditions. Yeah, because then you do it right there on the spot. 11 days, man. 11 days after my end of active service, I got my VA rating, man. I remember being at work. I got a call from the VA or from my DAV counselor, and she's like, "Hey, you got your rating, and here's what it is." I'm like, "Oh, no shit. Well, that's cool. That was quick." I was expecting it like maybe a month later. It was quick. 11 days. Yeah, you ain't lying there, Brian Hahn. You're not lying, dude.
Living in San Diego is not too bad.
Not too bad, man. I wouldn't mind, where you're living out there in Sicily, there, John. I'm gonna have to go visit someday.
Yeah, come on out, man. They got Space A flights, so if you're trying to take a Space A trip, you can hop all the way here.
So I'm glad you brought up Space A, dude. Because, hold on a second. Let me bring this up on the stage here on the screen. Teamed up with EB Travels. EB Travels. So this is run by an active duty Army captain. And please, Rob, if you're listening and I got your rank wrong, man, I completely apologize, man. You might have already pinned on Major, I'm not sure, but this thing is cool. All right. Space A. I've been wanting to take Space A. It just seems like a pain in the behind, trying to find out terminals and going on all the Facebook groups for all the terminals. So what this dude did was he went and he compiled all the terminal stuff in here and put it on one webpage for a specific service that he created. So if you become a member of it, I'm a member of it here. You explore the database, and he updates, this thing automatically updates every 20 minutes, depending on what terminals put information out there. So let's say you want to go from East Coast somewhere and visit family somewhere else on the East Coast, explore flights, and it tells you that, hey, Charleston, if you're in Charleston and you want to go to Pope Field, 53 seats available. Okay, I don't know what this thing is here. Joint Base Charleston, and right here it shows you what it is. Destinations and all that stuff, 53 seats available. So pretty cool stuff. And the coolest thing about it is it's constantly sending me emails about the updates. So let me see if I can pull up an email here. It's pretty cool. Let's go EB. Yeah, here we go. So something to this effect. So this would be an email that I received. Probably, this one was 22 hours ago here. And it says, my tracked flights, like from Travis Air Force Base to Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. I've been looking to go to Hawaii again. That's where we moved from. So it just shows me all the flights coming in from that. And these are the terminals that I'm tracking right now. So it gives you updates on the terminals that you're tracking. You set the days in the future. You set your regions. and it just shoots an email out, and I get one probably daily. So pretty cool stuff. EB Travels, and he gave me a discount code for, like, if you want to become a member. I'm not trying to push this too hard, but if you want to become a member, 20% off of the entire site, and just using the code Green Logbook. That's it. So big ups to Rob, who created this. It's definitely going to make life a lot easier, especially as I'm looking to use more Space Age travel this year.
Boom.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, there you go. Brian Hahn, you got it. Links in the chat. Awesome. So trying to help this dude out too. He's an awesome guy. And, we talked for a little bit. And when he explained this all to me, I was like, hold on a second. I don't have to go search for this stuff. And on top of that, there's a form you fill out through the website, and it automatically sends it to the terminal. So you don't have to contact the terminal yourself, because there's a sheet that you have to fill out, send it over to them to lock on your space, right? The manifest or whatever. But good stuff. Yes, you're absolutely right, Harley for Bill. Space safe flight schedules are online now. This dude just made it a lot easier. EB Travels. And very cool. He named it after his daughter, EB. So very cool stuff. But yeah, that's this year, man, or next year, 2026 is gonna be the year of travel, dude. Travel. So that's why I was excited to kind of find out about this whole EV Travels thing. Because I do have plans. I do want to go to Scotland and Ireland. I'm a big, like, I don't know if anybody else is out there is a big Lord of the Rings fan. I like Lord of the Rings. I have I was gifted a Lord of the Rings ring with the Elvish words on it at one point. Not sure where it is, but I just like the movie. I think it's cool. And I thought, man, I would love to go out there to Scotland. I love old castles. I love checking that stuff out, and I really want to go and see that stuff. I'd like to go to the Highlands. It'd be cool if I can see, like, the Highland Games. That'd be awesome. Maybe get me a nice, like, kilt. Wear it on the air.
Rocking a kilt. And nothing wrong
Wear it
with
on the
kilts,
live
man.
stream. No, I got a buddy who wears his kilt, man. He's up in Canada. He's Irish, Scottish, I don't know. But he's in a band. He's like a band master or something. He runs all the bands for the high school and up in Canada for a part of Canada up there. But he loves rocking his kilt, man. That dude loves that stuff. He was a former Marine as well. Great dude, deployed with the man, and he loves his kilts. Good dude. Let me see what else we got here. What else can we put out there for 2026 retirement? What does that look like? We talked about starting TAP. We talked about BDD. Talked a little bit about medical records and just getting seen sooner than later, because it is easier to get your medical services while you're in uniform versus outside of the uniform if you're not willing to wait. Let me see here. Oh, PACT Act. So if you deployed, definitely sign up for the toxic exposure. Was it the PACT Act? Yeah, toxic exposure stuff. So if you ever had anything to do with burn barrels or anything like that, definitely sign up for that. Was it the Burn Pit Registry? Is that what it's called?
Yep. Burn Pit Registry. They just revamped it. It was either this year or last year. They just revamped the website. They had one up before, and then they revamped it and redid it and put a new one up. If you, I don't know where you would search.
Isn't it if you deployed at all, you now get it automatically?
I don't know if that's the case. It might be. Let me look it up real quick. But I haven't looked at it for a while. I know someone had reached out and said, yeah, they had updated the Burn Pit Registry. So I think we put it out on one of the shows that we did. But
it says March 5th, 2024, they expanded VA healthcare to millions of veterans.
health.
You're
Mil.
Yeah, you're eligible to enroll without needing to apply for disability benefits first if you meet the basic services and discharge requirements. You served in the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, or any other combat zone after 9/11, or you deployed in support of the global war on terror, or you were exposed to toxins or other hazards during military service at home or abroad. So I think it's just kind of like a blanket thing.
Yeah, it seems to be. VA.gov/PACT Act. It's PACT Act, Burn Pit Registry, Airborne Hazards and Burn Pit, Public Health, VA.gov. Where's that? Publichealth.va.gov/exposures/burn pits/index. /index.asp. What a great website. I'll drop it in there, but that's the burn pit registry, and it's basically for the Southeast Asia area of operations. Smoke and fumes, sand, dust, general air pollution, fuel, aircraft exhaust, other mechanical fumes, smoke from oil wells and oil well fires.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, if you're anything like me, I was out there like swishing the burn barrels while I was in Iraq. Anything like plastic, just like garbage, anything they could throw in there just to burn. I was out there and I was not wearing a mask. I was like just cutting it up, having fun with friends because it was kind of our time away from the unit.
Yep.
Just doing stuff. So we were just having fun, right? Like silly Marines, just kind of like switch and sailors out there swishing stuff around. So yeah, we didn't know what we were getting into at that point, but I'm sure if you were breathing that crap in, you know, plastics and all that crap, it's going to affect you. I've already had to have like surgery on my nose not too long ago because I couldn't breathe. So it's still affecting me. But yeah, definitely register for that trash. I don't know if my nose thing has anything to do with that. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, I put it out there. It's live.
If you're getting out and you're retiring, or if you're getting out and you're not retiring, either way, and you're putting in your VA claim stuff, and you have terminal leave or the end of service leave that you have accumulated, just keep this in the back of your mind to set yourself up a little bit of padding financially for once you get out of the military, even if you have a job lined up afterwards, or if you don't. If you're going to be collecting retirement, you're going to be collecting VA pension benefits, those things are going to be about 30 to 90 days out after you end your last day in service. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I know it comes up over and over and over in discussions on Reddit. People ask about it all the time. Like, just block off 30 to 90 days after your ETS date, after your final day in uniform, to understand that if you are expecting VA benefits payments to come in, if you're expecting retirement payments to come in, that you're going to have to give that a little bit of buffer time. And it's usually 1 to 3 months, depending on which one it is. I think the retirements may be 1 month because they have to go through all of your financial records at DFAS in Indianapolis or Ohio or wherever they're at now. And they've got to verify that you don't owe the government any money, and then they can start paying you the retirement paycheck. The VA takes an additional month after they've adjudicated your VA claims and given you your rating. If you rate like 70 or 80 or 100% or whatever it is, you'll take an additional 30 days at least for them to give you your first payment for that. So just keep that in the back of your mind whenever you're getting out of the military, that you need to give yourself a little bit of padding, a little bit of runway before those payments start to come in.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a big question I was encountering on the military retirement group. People asking like, hey, I didn't get a paycheck. I didn't get paid the month after I left service. I'm like, well, it usually comes a month after. Right. So it's not like they back pay you or anything like that. It's just, that's what it is.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is regular VA claims. Like if you've been out already, you're not doing the BD process. If you put in an intent to file a claim, say in July of this year, and you don't actually get your claim filed until maybe January of next year, and then it takes a few months for them to get it adjudicated, as long as it's filed before that 12-month period is up. And if they adjudicate it and stamp it for that day that you filed rather than the day you put in the intent to file, there's a potential for, 6 or 8 months of back pay that could come with that, where you don't get that back pay in the BDD process. It just doesn't, it's
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah. Another big thing I'd say is update your DEERS before you leave the service. So they have, I think there's a website called Military Benefits or E-Benefits or something like that, Mill Benefits, where I updated all my stuff on there.
Mhm.
But just make sure you have anything that maybe could be outdated, TRICARE stuff, maybe your GI Bill stuff, things like that. Because there's a potential that you could get locked out of changes, and then you have to go to maybe a joint reception center or some kind of a DEERS center to get things updated. It'd be easier if you just update it on the spot while you're still active duty.
Yep.
Let me see.
Also, especially for your post 9/11 GI Bill benefits, if you want to divvy those out to your kids or your spouse or something, you should definitely do that before you separate from service. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did that, and um, California gives free university, like to a Cal State or a state school,
Mhm.
for veterans. As long as you hit like a certain threshold on VA disability and all that. So um, that if you move to a state like that, there's a potential that you could use your VRNE, your Veterans Readiness and Employment, as long as you sign up for it, because it's not specifically an education program. It's to get you back into a job, right? Excuse me. But if you don't have the qualifications for the job that you want to get to, or if something like hinders your limitations or something like that, your VA disabilities, and you need to get into something else, well, they will help you with the education portion by paying that tuition. And if it's something completely different than what you were doing, right? So you have to justify all that stuff. I made a whole video on how to justify it and get your stuff approved on there for your education piece. Or you can do like a welding course, be a plumber or something like that, if that's what you want to do. But there's a potential you could use your VRNE, then your post 9/11 GI Bill, which also pays you the monthly housing allowance. Like if you work it right, there's a potential for 8 years of school right there, paid for, complete tuition and monthly housing allowance for you. And if you live in one of those states where they cover tuition for your spouse and your dependents, you got it made. You don't have to worry about that stuff. On top of that, if you're 100% VA disabled, I think it's 100% VA disabled, you get Chapter 35, which gives your dependents, whoever's going to school full time, a stipend. I think it went up to $1,537 this year, and in October, I think. So there's money out there for you, your dependents, even after you leave the service. You just got to search for it.
And I want to bring up this comment that Brian put in the chat there about the foreign medical program. Just hearing about this myself. I mean, I'm overseas, of course, and I do have a medical facility nearby that's run by the Navy. So that's good or bad, however you want to take it. I do have to go through them for pretty much everything if I want a referral outside. But this program that he's mentioning, if you just do a quick search for foreign medical program, it's usually va.gov/health-care/foreign-medical-program. And it breaks down the eligibility and how to register and all that stuff. If you find yourselves in an overseas location, be it Panama or Guatemala or over here in Europe or something like that, and you're not near a medical facility that would potentially cover you like a military medical facility using TRICARE, if you have that access, then this is another way to go, and then basically reimburse you for payments related to health care that's taken care of in conjunction with your disability. Your service connected disabilities or anything that's made or injured or caused worse from your military service.
Yeah. I'm looking at the eligibility right now. The services are for a VA rated service connected disability, for example, an illness or injury caused or made worse by your military service, or the services are for a condition that's associated with a service connected disability that we determine makes the disability worse or aggravates it. For example, if you have a service connected condition for post traumatic stress disorder, we may cover the cost of care for non service connected depression because the depression can be associated with PTSD and make it worse. Or the
Nice.
services are part of your care you're receiving as part of your participation in the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. Very cool.
And they
I
will
didn't know
do
about that.
direct deposit to foreign bank accounts as well, is what it says there. It says, oh, we're
Well,
working on setting up direct deposit for international bank accounts. Yep. Not available yet,
hell
but
yeah.
coming soon.
Hell yeah. You know, I will say I got an email or a call. Hold on. Let me pull it up on my calendar because I have it. I got a date schedule with these folks. There's a program called VA Wave. Have you heard of that?
VA Wave. No, I have not.
Let me pull it up so I can speak intelligently on this thing. VA Wave. Oh gosh, where is it? Wave. So essentially, what it is um, I was. They asked me at one of my appointments with the VA, like, "Hey, do you want to connect with folks who with an organization or with the VA portion of that of their employment, I guess, side of the house, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm open to it. Whatever you got, right?" It's gosh, VA Wave. I wish I can't even find the damn website to this thing. Education training. It might be under education training. However, it's I go over there and meet with folks, and it's like give you um, they give you employment information, how to get in with the VA if you're interested in that. And according to what the lady told me on the phone, she was like, "Yeah, we even have openings with the VA that you can get into if you go through the WAVE program." And I'm like, huh, well, that's cool, because I would love to work as like a peer counselor or something like that with the VA. Um, but I just, it's it's so hard to get through that whole USA Jobs thing and get a call back or even get an email back saying that doesn't say, hey, you have not been selected. So VA
Real
Wave,
thing,
I have
man.
an appointment with them next week. Looking forward to reporting back a little bit more about that. I've not heard that before of that before,
You got
but
that
they
link?
said I'm looking for it right now, man. It's
Okay.
she's like, if you're familiar with the VRD program, that is their readiness program side of the house, not the education side of the house, like their
Okay.
readiness. VA
Wave.
Wave.
WAVE, right?
Yep, yep. I think so. I hope
Check
so.
my email and it might be in there. The last thing I saw about the VA stuff was a VRE live employment like seminar slash networking event that they had going on soon. That was the last thing I saw that was connected to VRE.
I'm going to the comments here real quick.
Career Accelerator. That's what it's called. December 17th. So that's Tuesday. This is for VRE participants, I guess, or is it open to everybody? Hiring event.
Open to everybody, dude. Open to everybody.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I'm gonna throw it on the screen now. Okay. They can come back and yell at me later. It's all good. So Veteran and Career Accelerator, if you're in the VRE program and you haven't already heard about this through the VRE and through military hire, if you're looking for career readiness, employment, virtual hiring event on Wednesday, December 17th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, open to all veteran service members, military spouses. This event features dozens of top federal, private, and nonprofit employers who are hiring For well-paying positions around the country, there will also be community resources available to participants, giving the opportunity to meet and interact directly with employers. They can ask questions, apply for jobs, obtain job resources and information. Let me drop the registration link. Maybe we'll blow it up, and I wish I could get an affiliate registration link. That'd be pretty cool. But no. I'll drop the link in the chat because I know somebody's going to ask about it. Say it. And if you're watching this on Facebook and it died, I don't know what happened. Maybe something happened.
Yeah, I see a little exclamation mark there. I'm not sure. Let me see. Maybe I'm looking for this. Maybe the reemployment track here. Rapid access to employment, long-term services. Maybe the reemployment track. So I did tell the lady online on the phone that I am pretty well versed in the VRD program. I am accepted to a VRD program right now. Just waiting to start in January. I'm just trying to start, man. I mean, I was supposed to start in July.
Yep.
Of 2024, and there was so much pushback, and then the government shut down, and didn't hear anything from anybody. So I'm like, hey, look, let's just do it, man. Let's see. Tony Slaughter. Hey, Tony Slaughter, welcome, man. Welcome to the channel, to the chat. Good to see you again. I think they are lowering the amount because they are seeing deflation. The amount of BAH, I think you mean? Because I know BAH has been going down. Some spots are going up, about like $3 to $5 or something like that. Some spots are kind of down. And if you can find the whole Reddit thread on there, and it's just funny seeing the comments, just pissed off people, man. You know.
Good to see you again too, Tony.
Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Yeah. So curious what everybody's drinking right now. What are you drinking? What are you sipping on there?
Pepsi with lemon twist.
Pepsi with lemon twist. I like that.
They're not sponsoring the show, by the way.
No. You know, dude, you're all right. Pepsi, right? You put up a Pepsi can, and again, not sponsored, but that's funny.
I wish.
I went through this weird hole in the YouTube universe yesterday, and I wish I had this guy's YouTube channel. He's got like millions of views, and it looks like he's recording his videos with like a potato. It's like a terrible, terrible like quality. But he's like this old dude. You know, he's probably like 60, 70, or maybe young. I'll call it this 70-year-old young man. And he, I was wondering, I was like, what am I looking at right now? He's got like the eyes going sideways, like a pug, right? And he's like, today I'm going to show you how to make Pepsi with pickle juice or something. And he had like 4 million views on that. I'm like, what the hell am I watching here? I'm sitting there, I'm just laughing my ass off on it because I'm with my son, and he looks at me, he's like, Dad, what is this? I'm like, I have no idea, but I'm intrigued, man, because this guy's like, he looks like he's in the middle of nowhere in a cabin somewhere by himself. His hair is all disheveled. He's got eyes going sideways, and he's showing me how to mix Pepsi with pickle juice and how to make this drink. I don't know, but when you brought that up, it gave me like this traumatic experience, you know, remembering that thing just last night. I wish I got to find this guy's stuff. Also, another YouTube thing that I jumped on. I got to share this with you, John, because I've never heard of this before. It's kind of disturbing, and hold on, it's
what's it time called? For dark humor? Should I play the dark humor theme music?
Go ahead. Okay. I've never seen something like this before. I came across it, hilarious, but at the same time, a little disturbing. Okay. Do you know what a nutria is?
Nutria.
It's like a big rat, like a beaver.
No.
Okay. It looks like a big beaver, right? Like a big rat. Let me
To make me look this up and get this in my YouTube feed.
okay.
Tree.
This all right, this is weird, dude. Are you ready?
Okay.
Let me just put this on. There's in Louisiana, they have this thing called it's like a game called nutria tossing.
Huh.
Okay. And what they do is they throw these beaver-like animals. They throw them for distance.
Okay.
And I watched the
I'm on board.
video. I watched the video. I'm like, what exactly is this? Like, I didn't know that this was a thing. I mean, you can see that. Look.
This is I've got it on my screen right now. Yeah, you've got it up on the screen.
Yeah, nutria tossing, dude. Okay, just going. Yeah, again, a rabbit hole somewhere, but it looks like an overgrown muskrat, just like Harley for Bill said. I've never. I mean, is it something like? Are they pests? Like, are they invasive? Is that why they're doing it? But that came up on my radar. I was like, where the hell am I right now? Why am I watching this? It might have been because I was looking at helicopter rides in Texas, and they do these helicopter rides where you actually pay for this stuff, right? It's like $1,000 or something like that, and you take these nighttime helicopter rides, and you shoot these feral hogs with like M16s, and because they're invasive. They eat all the crops and stuff like that.
Yeah, have to decrease the population of them.
Yeah, but they make it look like so badass, like you're spec ops and stuff. You got scopes and all that stuff, and just hitting these dudes, right? These things,
craziness.
Yeah. But nutrient, man.
So I mean, if you're looking into weird stuff like that, and I'm sure it sounds like you are, I would love to see your YouTube feed someday. If you look up squirrel launching, squirrel catapult, or squirrel ninja warrior, you'll find some very interesting, funny videos about squirrels that may be or may not be airborne and have airborne qualification wings.
Yeah, I will tell you what, man, and I will look that up. But in the military, you find some weird people. My roommate, my barracks roommate. I went to boot camp with this guy. I never really talked to him. Then he became my roommate randomly in Camp Pendleton. I think I told you the story before. He asked me for a ride. He didn't have a car. I had a car. He's like, "Can we go to the mall, the Carlsbad Mall?" And they had a KB Toys in there. I'm like, "What do you got to get at KB Toys?" He's like, "I'm just looking for some stuff." So this dude, he purchases a pack of 3 little dolls, like babies. And I'm like, "What the fuck? What are you doing with that?" He's like, "Oh, nothing, man." He didn't explain. I'm like, he didn't want to tell me anything. So I'm like, whatever, dude. Maybe it's a gift. I don't know. So that evening, I hear I'm on the second floor, and I open my door, right? And it's like a Friday night or whatever. I open my door, and I see the freaking doll, the baby doll, flying through the air. Like, you got the catwalk, and I'm like, what the fuck? What is this? And the dude's downstairs punting these babies, these dolls. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? He's like, I'm punting babies, and yeah, you meet some weird people in the Marine Corps, in the military in general. So he's just punting these dolls into the air, and it was like eye level, like the things were floating up. I was a second floor, so yeah, strange folks, man. Strange folks, and he became a really good friend of mine. Strange guy. But yeah, let me see. Navy Cop says we have a bunch of nutria in Washington. Are they invasive, or are they? I'm curious about that. Boston Rob says we were discussing veteran-owned coffee companies last week, and IVMF has a page devoted to veteran-owned businesses. There's an entire section of coffee companies to start sampling. My man, thank you for that, IVMF. Let me write that down. Yeah, might have to get those coffee companies on the buddy check project there, Navy Cop. Let's see. Boston Rob says, in New England, we have Fisher cats. They're violent weasel-like animals. Sounds like perfect for punting, man. Violent weasel-like animals.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cornhole or
Alternative.
cornhole alternative. I like that. Just put them back in the hole that it came out from. Oh gosh, let's see.
So IVMF coffee, huh? I gotta look this up. IVMF coffee.
Isn't IVMF like the thing like women use to get pregnant?
No, that's
that's IVF?
IVF. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Missing one letter. Yes. IVMF is where you go get the project management certifications and all that stuff.
See, that's you can tell I'm only on my first cup of coffee, man. I need my second cup here. There's a guy that does Green Beret Chronicles YouTube. He has a coffee company. Hell yeah, man. Check that out.
IVMF. Whoa. That's interesting. All kinds of stuff.
Are you on the wrong page?
No, I'm on the right page, but I'm trying to
Nutria IVF?
Buy military owned coffee, and there's a ton of coffee companies listed here. Okay, cool. And they also have other stuff: books, beer and spirits, tactical safety and fitness, food and beverage, gifts. They got all kinds of stuff in here, and I guess these are all veteran-owned businesses. Interesting. Speaking of cornhole,
yeah. Speaking of that, I gotta set one up in the backyard, man. I'm starting to spruce up the backyard a little bit with more like trees and stuff like that, some greenery. Gotta put something back there, man. Some cornhole. See where we can get some nutria here in SoCal.
Nutria hole.
Dude, there's a lot of gophers. Like I laid down, I had sod, right? In the front yard and the backyard. And then a bunch of gophers started coming up in the ground. And the one guy, a landscaper dude that I hired at one point, he's like, hey, yeah, they have these smoke bombs you could put down in the holes. And so I was like, hell yeah, man. So like they look like little sticks of dynamite. And you just light it up,
like
throw them down there and just cover it up. Yeah. And just been doing that. Like my neighbor just drowns them with water. He sees their heads pop up and he immediately goes with the hose, drowns their holes. But yeah, man, they're kind of invasive out here too. Kind of invasive. Wanted to stick like firecrackers down there.
I gotta ask Better and Broken. He mentioned Black Rifle. I actually reached out to Black Rifle a few times, multiple times, and I know they're a big company now, and they sponsor like Travis Pastrana and like Hoonigan and like all these other really cool things that are going on the internet and in like extreme sports and motorsports and stuff like that. I've reached out to them. If you've got to connect with Black Rifle Coffee or any way to get me in touch with Black Rifle Coffee, that would be amazing, because I would love to get in contact with them and just have a conversation with them. But I've reached out to them many times. But I'm going to go through this IVMF links list and see if I can reach out to a couple of these folks as well, because it's good not only to get in contact with them and build a relationship with them, but also to get them out in the public in front of our audience and everybody else. It'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, they're there in Georgia, so Better and Broken. Yeah, if you know somebody, man, let us know. We'll do the rest of the work.
Oh yeah.
We just need to talk to somebody about it.
Just need a warm hand to shake.
That's it. A warm hand to shake for business purposes only.
For business purposes.
Let me see what else we got here for folks leaving the service. I recently got a question about SkillBridge, and there's been so much change with SkillBridge and stuff like that since I left the service. Then that I don't know if there's been any updates. I have not read any updates. Last I remember, the question on the SkillBridge was, can you use it on terminal leave? And as far as I know, yes, you can. I know that was the intent for me to use SkillBridge. So it's definitely out there, but I think there's limitations. I don't know if it's branch directed or not, but there's limitations on how long you can use it for. It used to be like 6 months, and then they dialed it back a little bit,
Yep.
and they found out what people were trying to do, just trying to leave the service early, right?
Yep.
And whatever. But I don't know if it's still 6 months. You got to look up the reference on that.
I think it's branch specific because I've heard different things from different services where, depending on the commands, and I think they're actually in some cases leaving it in the hands of the local area commanders to be like the
Mhm.
approving authority and say, okay, yes, you can do this on these under these conditions for 3 weeks or 6 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever it happens to be. Like there's variations of the skill bridge program, but as we mentioned with every other thing, like if you want to do that kind of stuff, start doing it early. Start thinking about a year out, especially
Yeah,
if you're trying to work with a company that may not be in the registry and trying to get them through the process of getting them registered so that you can potentially work with them as a skill bridge opportunity. You got to do it early. You got to start thinking about this stuff early and stop
absolutely.
working your butt off for the service and give yourself a little separation there.
Yeah, that was hard for me to do, man, because I felt like I owed it to them, like to continue working, like to the Marine Corps, to continue working up until my last day,
Same.
until I spoke to somebody, another retiree, a retired master guns of 30 years. He lives nearby, and he came by and talked to me, and he's like, "Hey, look, the green machine will keep on running with or without you, dude. You know, you need to focus on number one. Focus on number one. That's yourself. So, for yourself, for your family. So, hand off whatever you got to your gunny, to whoever. So lucky enough, I had a staff sergeant that worked directly for me, and I had a gunny who was kind of like, you know, a gunny who was let go of his position, and he was like in limbo. So I'm like, hey, gunny, I need you to do this and do that. So I had two staff NCOs I was able to give stuff to. Right. I do want to put out there for folks to follow this. Um, it is the Forward Act. So there's the Forward Act is a potential to an act that was presented for folks who are, I think you have to be either 100% VA disabled or retired, and it will allow you to continue contributing to your TSP. Again, it has just been it has been presented. I don't think there's any updates to it. I have not checked it in the last week or so.
Yeah, they might have added one or two people to the bill as
Yeah,
far as what are they called?
yeah, to the
People,
yeah, the
whatever the hell they're
representatives or
called.
whatever.
Yeah.
Scroll down a little bit real quick. Let
Mhm.
me see that first line there. Uh, to allow retired or certain disabled members of the Uniform Code Service to contribute to the Thrift Savings Plan after separation and for other purposes. So
Amazing.
definitely one to follow on that. This is one that I'm following. I keep it on my list, and I think on Congress.gov you can have it ping you if there's any updates to
Yep.
things.
I get
So
emails about it all the time.
yeah. So there you go. This would be awesome. I mean, if you've been contributing to the TSP, I've been, my last few years in the Marine Corps, I was maxing this stuff out. We were living off my wife's pay. I was just investing as much as I could, and I learned a good amount about the TSP. I think I got a good flow with it. But then when you leave service, you can't really contribute to it anymore unless you go to like the federal route, the federal
Yep.
government route.
And it has to
And
be appropriated funds federal route, not non-appropriated.
yeah. So at that point, it's like they open up a whole another TSP account for you, a civilian one. So I have two of them on there, one from uniformed services, one from civilian services. So definitely one to keep on your radar, the Forward Act, because this would be insane if they open that up, man. And it has to come from your retirement, I think, or no,
I think you
it can come from both, yeah,
Yeah.
because it does say disabilities too.
Yeah.
So
And it looks like a good bipartisan kind of split of people supporting it right now. It's only 11 people supporting it right now, but those are the folks that are doing it. Missouri, Virginia, Connecticut, Pennsylvania,
yeah,
Virginia, North Carolina, Illinois, Maryland, Florida, Kansas. Not bad.
yeah. So, John, one thing I wanted to bring up, probably one of the last things I'll bring up here, and I most likely will be making short video on this, right? Um, and this one, I want to bring this up because there was a lot of talk about uh, the length of time to wait for appointments at the VA. Like I mentioned, um, what Friday, I had an appointment with, a telephonic appointment with or the video one with the therapist, the initial therapist, and they mentioned, hey, I'm not your therapist, but now that I have the information, we'll have somebody call you up. And when I asked them, like, hey, how soon can I get an appointment with this? Because I opted for the individual in person therapy appointments. They're like, oh, it's approximately 3 months. I'm like, that's a long freaking time, right? Then we had that one Marine veteran who, took his own life at the Audie Murphy Veterans VA parking lot up over in San Antonio. And, a lot of the stuff doesn't sit well with me. And I have to believe that, the long wait times are because either they're understaffed or they just can't keep staff on the roster. And one thing I want to bring up here, and again, I'm going to be making a video on this too, is this article that was put out by Forbes, and it was just put out yesterday. Veterans Affairs cutting as many as 35,000 jobs by end of the year, report says. And I'm going to go through all this stuff. I'm going to dissect it a little bit, but that's a lot of jobs, and especially if they're going to be like doctors or anything like that, mental health clinicians. That's worrisome, and I don't know how that's going to work out. But again, more to come on that. I'm going to dissect this a little bit, and I'm kind of, I have family that work for the federal government as well, and they're coming to me and they're telling me, yeah, my unit is cutting a lot of jobs as well by the end of the year. Not VA related or anything like that, just like Navy related, right? And I'm wondering, like, if I would have stayed in the federal government, I probably would have been the first to go because I was probationary for 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's a little worrisome that they're cutting so many jobs, and I wonder what I know it's all about cost saving as well, but I'm wondering what's the end result of this.
I mean, hopefully they're just trying to keep people around who actually want to be there, who actually want to do the job, who are dedicated to it. Because, I mean, let's be honest, not everybody who's in the federal employment scope or bubble necessarily wants to be there or is there for the right reasons. And hopefully
Yeah.
what this is to find those people that are there for the right reasons, who are dedicated to helping veterans in the case of the VA, or dedicating to helping the mission in the case of whatever other jobs they're filling for the federal government, and they're really trying to pare down and like cut the fat, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, and I get that part. And you know what I wish, and I was looking this up, and I had a good conversation with oh gosh, Mario, the one gentleman, Army gentleman who comes on the live stream every so often on the Coffee Connection. Um, he had mentioned, and we got into it about wishing that there was a fast track for maybe veterans who have that kind of that military experience, who want to get into the VA to be counselors, to be clinicians or doctors or nurses or something like that. So the what I'm running into is I wanted to do the clinical psychology route, but finding that it's it's a 2 year long thing, and it's normally at night, right? I'm in bed by like 10 or 11, right? And
Yeah.
I like to read. I like my evenings, right? And I understand that a lot of folks who are going for their masters or graduate degrees are probably a little bit older, probably have established jobs or careers, right? They're working at during the day, but and I'd like to get the full monthly housing allowance, but also go during the day. But wishing that it wasn't like a whole 2 years long. And I understand that there's certain classes that you have to hit, but I mean, if there was like a fast track or something like that to get into the VA for veterans, you know, to become certified licensed counselors, I would love that. But for right now, it's kind of like, hey, you got to be in class. It's crazy, dude. From like 2 to 8:30,
Yep.
p.m., 2 in the afternoon to 8:30 p.m. And on top of that, you have to hit like 3,000 hours of like clinic time. And so
Yeah,
it's like, well,
exactly.
yeah, it's a little tough, right? And it's not really like they're not selling it to me very well. I would love to do something like this, but they're not really selling it to me. Um, but I would, yeah, veteran bro, thank you for that, man. But I really want to get licensed, is what it is, man. Like
Yeah.
I always have to preface it with, I'm not a licensed whatever, and that's cool. But I'd like to get into the VA to do this stuff, right? And help out other veterans who are in need. And that's really, I think, where the passion lies with me after service. Um, but I just wish that it wasn't so difficult to do. I've contacted maybe 4 universities, and they all tell me about the same thing. Um, so yeah, this is just a wish of mine. I don't know that anything will happen. It would take the Department of Education probably coming through and connecting with the VA and all that to make some changes.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but streamlining the process for a clinical health professional. Like, I don't know how much you can streamline that process because of the fact that, like you said, you got to do the coursework and you have to do the clinical hours, like the real clinical hours with folks, and it's all part of the kind of the process.
Yeah.
I mean, the secondary to that would be like some things like we did in the Army. I think they still do it, which is the resiliency program, which is another. It's not exactly clinical work. You're not a medical professional per se, but you are giving people guidance and tools on how to better improve their mental health overall, right? From a 1 to 10 scale, like you're taking somebody who's maybe at a 1 or a 2 on a mental health wellness scale and bringing them up to a 5 or a 6, right?
Yep. There's a gosh, I'm trying to find it. I was on it yesterday. There is a program that the VA runs for folks who want to get into like becoming clinicians, like clinical counselors and all that. It's like a scholarship thing. I mean, it doesn't really make sense for me because I'm already getting the whole VRNE and GI Bill and all that. But they essentially pay for your schooling, and then you owe the VA back like 6 years of working for them, something to that effect. It doesn't really make sense if you have like the post 9/11 or all the other stuff,
Mm.
but it is out there. I'm trying to find the link for that, but there's options out there. I just wish it wasn't freaking so long. Yeah, veteran broken here says, to be honest, the VA needs to implement iPads and shit so they can actually get out of the office and go to veterans' homes and help them do the paperwork. Yeah. Says,
Indeed.
one thing that I learned through this mental health thing was to get out and touch the grass. You got to unplug. Yeah. You got to get unplugged, man. We talk about it all the time. These 4 walls, this place is comfortable for me. These 4 walls here, I made it comfortable for me. But if you're not getting out into like just getting to walk in, it's like you just mentioned, touch the grass or breathe some fresh air, you're not doing yourself any favors, man. Drink water, change your socks, all that good stuff. Touch the grass. Let me see. And I guess what other advice do we have for folks getting out in 2026? Just kind of wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we got a whole nother Sunday or 2 before 2026 comes, right? So, and we don't have any guests lined up. So
yeah, I'm sure I'll think of something. So with that, I would say I failed to put the link to the live stream on here. So normally we would put the link on the live stream for folks to jump on to share their stuff. But maybe next Sunday we will, or maybe the Veterans and Coffee Connection. I always put it out there. The Veterans and Coffee Connect. Yeah, we put it up there for anybody to jump on. I love hearing folks and what they got to say, sharing some coffee with them, and just coming together to build that tribe, the camaraderie. So I agree with Tony Slaughter when he says that 2026 is going to be great. Yes, we're prepping for it. Big things coming, not just for, on the veteran side, but also for the military retirement podcast side, for the Green Logbook side. We got a lot of plans here, and trying to take this straight to the top and get as involved in the whole veteran community as possible. So it's going to be awesome for us.
Yeah. And thank you guys for comments, for all your suggestions, kicking us in the side once in a while when we forget to drop the links in the comments. Let us know. Like, feel free to drop comments afterwards if you want to send us comments on any of the videos that you see of what we can do to improve it. If there's anything that's missing from it, any of the stuff that we're talking about that's missing that we may not have a purview of, that you give us a link to it and we can bring it up on screen and talk about it. Really, really appreciate every single one of you. Just be safe out there. Check up on your buddies. It's the winter season is upon us, as you already know, especially those folks up in Boston. And you gotta watch out for your brothers and sisters around you, because cold winters bring cold evenings and cold thoughts sometimes. So you've got a lot of folks out there that are going through mental struggles, especially this time of year. So reach out to them, stay safe, be safe, help somebody out, and give somebody a high five or a hug. Shit.
Yeah, go out and press the flesh.
That's right.
Yeah. With that, if you haven't already joined up on Facebook, join the Military Retirement Group. It's an awesome group of veterans and retirees coming together to share some great information. If you haven't already followed or subscribed to the Military Retirement Podcast, please make sure you do so. It really helps us out. Also, like and subscribe to the Green Logbook, my own channel there. It really helps out getting information like these live streams in front of other veterans who may be searching for that sense of camaraderie, that sense of tribe and purpose again, and just really to connect with other veterans, really, to have some good conversation. We've all served. I feel like though we have different experiences, we all can come together via one shared experience, and that's having raised our right hand and served in the military, having worn the uniform. So with that, thank you all for listening to the Military Retirement Podcast. I'll put up something else during the week on the Coffee Connect. It may not be going tomorrow because I'm kind of live streamed out a little bit. I got to let my eyes breathe, but it may be on Wednesday. I don't know. Just like and subscribe and hit that notification so you are notified when I am doing the live stream. Thank you all for joining us. It has been a pleasure.
We'll see y'all again next week.
All right. Out here. And out here.